Good morning or good afternoon, Tigers. Today we'll be watching a Quizette video on homework 704. Please make sure that you write your last name, comma, first name, and that you write today's date, and circle the appropriate class color. It's kind of funny, I don't teach red tigers, but today I'm going to pretend and say that I'm a red tiger. Monday number 1, please don't do that. Please circle the right class color for your Quizette or your homework. Monday number 1 is just going to be arithmetic, a review of positive and negative integers. We're going to be reviewing adding and subtracting integers, number 1 and number 2. Number 3 and number 4 is going to be review of multiplication and division of positive and negative integers. And then number 5 is just going to be more of a common sense type of review. Not a lot of math is going to be involved in number 5. It's just going to be a measure for me to see if you can connect English to math. Okay, so it's just your translation of English to math. So it's not meant to trick you. Number 5, it might look difficult because there's 2 sentences, but it's not meant to do that. Okay, Monday number 1, 3 minus 2 plus 4 minus 1. Now, a lot of you can do this problem just by remembering your elementary math. So you can just tell, like in your head, you could say 3 minus 2 is 1, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4. But it's not always going to work out that way now that you're in 7th grade, because now we're dealing with positive and negative numbers. So to be safe, whenever you see subtraction, anytime you see subtraction, you're going to change it to the addition of the opposite. So if the number right here is positive, you're going to change it into a negative number. All right? So just like science, there's cause and effect. So you can't just go change all of them to positives. There's an effect. And that, as a result, makes these numbers the opposite of what they currently are. So here, 2 is positive. So now the opposite of positive 2 is going to be negative 2. And the opposite of positive 1 is negative 1. Now let's think to ourselves. Let's break it down. 3 plus negative 2. That's just 1, because you have 3 and you're taking away 2. So again, you have 1. Now, add 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. So now you have 5 plus negative 1. 5 plus negative 1 is 4. That's how you do it at the 7th grade level. I don't want just an answer. I don't want you to just go like this, 4. That's not going to be acceptable, because when I grade it on Friday, I'm going to give you a check for the work, and I'm going to give you a check for the answer. Number 2, we already have addition, so we can solve this quickly. 3 plus negative 2. Well, they're different signs, and remember, different signs subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. Keep the sign of the bigger number, then you are exact. The bigger number is positive. It's positive 1. Number 3, 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And I want you all to write this on the side. A positive times a positive is positive. A positive times a negative. Remember the story I told you? A positive person meets a negative person. That's going to be a negative experience for both of them, because they don't have anything in common. Now, what if you had a negative person meet a positive person? Well, it's the same scenario. They're just in a different order. That would still be negative for them. But if you had a negative person and a negative person together, they have a lot in common. They're both negative and toxic people. Therefore, it's going to be a positive experience for them. Now, the same rules that we have for multiplication of positive and negative integers is the same thing for division. All right? So if you had a negative divided by a negative, it would be positive. So just remember, it's the same. Now let's look at number 4. You have a negative integer divided by a positive. A negative integer, let's just pretend that's divided by a positive. It would still be what? Negative. So, I know my answer is going to be negative. Now, how many times is 3 going to 9? 3 times. So, it's negative 3. Number 5. Fred has $28. Oops. Fred has $28, but lost a bet to George for $40. Okay? So, let's take note of this. He had $28, so $28 is positive. Lost a bet to George for $40 minus 40. How much does Fred owe George? Okay, 28 is positive, 40 is negative. 40 is the bigger number, guys. and it's negative. So your answer automatically, you know, is going to be negative. Or you can solve it the way I taught you. When you see subtraction, change it to addition of the opposite. These have different signs. And when there are different signs, you subtract them. 40 minus 28. You can do that in your head, but I'm going to do it this way. I can't take away 0 from 8. I have to borrow. 10 minus 8 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So my answer is going to be 12. That is incorrect. I'm missing something. Some of you guys will know what it is. Keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is negative. So my answer is not 12. My answer is negative 12. And think about if this makes sense. Fred only had $28, but he lost a bet for $40. So he doesn't have enough to pay off his loss. So he still owes his friend George $12. That makes sense. Let's answer in a complete sentence. Fred owes George $12. Or you can say negative $12. Same thing. Go ahead and work on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Good luck. I really believe that you guys can finish this homework assignment in one day. The only thing that I would suggest is to be very careful with your signs. A lot of you will get the right answer in multiplication and division, but you're going to get it wrong because you put the wrong sign. So make sure you pay attention to the sign. If you have questions, you can raise your hand. If you want to double check your answers, you can also raise your hand. But don't raise your hand for just one answer. Show me like 5 at a time, and then I'll tell you if it's good or not. Good luck, Tigers.